God of grace, power, understanding, we come just to say thank you for granting unto us an opportunity to assemble for the main purpose of working with young people and selecting somebody that is capable of providing information and getting a job done. We thank you for good minds, for good understanding, and we praise you for those that are here today. It is in the name of your son Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And I must apologize for Reverend Fields' absence last meeting. He had email problems, so I did not get the communication. Did you get that resolved now, DQ?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Very, very good. Could I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Andrews?
Here.
Kirkland Ladd?
Here.
Captain Yancey?
Here.
Lee Hampton?
Here.
Keith Field?
Yeah.
Ernestine McGee?
Here.
Mr. Boswell?
Here.
Allison Johnson?
Here.
Colin Calhoun?
Here.
Mr. DeClear?
Here.
Gina Eubanks?
Yes, ma'am.
Dawn Potan? Ruben Walker?
Yes, ma'am.
Robin Merrick? Here. Tracy Lewis?
Here.
Terry Washington?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Are there any public comments? There being none, let's move on to the agenda. You have in front of you the agenda. Could you look to see if there are any modifications that are warranted?
On number 6, could we modify it to include questions for the Chancellor? So discussion for and approval of evaluation, treatment, and questions. So that's it.
Proposed questions
Yeah.
or interviewees? And proposed interview questions. Are there any other comments? If not, would someone move for, would I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
That's been moved by Mr. Winter Andrew and seconded by,
I'll second.
who is that? Terry Washington. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, would you signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of minutes. You have the minutes. Could you look at the minutes? We need a few minutes to look them over. And Robin sent them out to you. Any modifications to the minutes? Would I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
It was moved by Dr. Abdullahi and seconded by C. Ruben Walker.
Yes.
Did I get it right there, C. Ruben?
Indeed.
All those in favor, could you signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? So we come to the main part of this meeting here, and this has to do with discussion and approval of evaluation instrument and proposed interview questions. And this is very, very important because we want to make sure this process is very objective. And at our last meeting, I appointed a committee to prepare the evaluation instrument. So as a committee, we want to observe that and look at it very carefully and see if we need to make any changes, and hopefully at some point we will accept it. I would like to recognize that subcommittee that worked on this draft. Dr. Ernestine McGee, Dr. Patton, Dr. Sabata, and Mr. Lehan. Thank you very much for your effort. And we have in front of us the instrument here. And I don't know, what's the best way to do it? Are you going to project it up here or what? While we discuss it, this is really a discussion phase.
Either way, you can put it
Are you comfortable just looking at your hard copy?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That screen is so far.
Just looking at your hard copy. Does everybody have a copy of the evaluation instrument? And incidentally, we are having for the first time here, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Attorney DeQueer, and Yellow and Miss Tracy. They're gonna keep us out of trouble now. Don't put that in there.
We'll try.
All right. We'll try. And Miss Banks, you were here the last time. Okay. And Mr. Tillman, where's Mr. Tillman?
Right here.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, Mr. Tillman.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, you have in front of you a proposed instrument, valuation instrument. And let's just look through. As you know, we are in the process of selecting a chancellor for the accent. And there are some qualities we are looking for. That individual coming must be a great leader who can take the accent to the next level. So it's in our best interest that we take this process very, very seriously. I noticed the first section here is under the category of mission. Evidence of understanding the mission of SUAREC and the special demands placed on it. Is everybody comfortable with that particular item? Yes.
Dr. Millad, the way that we designed this, when the candidates answer the questions, then we'll be able to get to the evaluation instrument. So they kind of like work together, and our intent was that all of the items on the evaluation instrument would be gleaned from the discussion as they answer the questions. And I offer that because it may be best to go through the questions so everybody can look at them with the evaluation instrument and just make sure that we're asking the right questions to get what we're looking for, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So your suggestion is that we start with questions.
And then look at them and look at the evaluation instrument at the same
And align
time.
and align them with the instrument.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
also questions, if needed, to correctly evaluate those items listed here. You know, we have one question, is that enough to evaluate anything? So if you have difficult, if you have suggestions, whatever, write it down and give us to us so we could include whatever need to be done.
Additionally, some of the information on here would be, as a result of reviewing the documentation that they will submit.
Yeah, okay. So
And that would be very much like B. If you can tell B, the B, educational preparedness and other related. The question that's really there is why you're interested in the position. Because you can glean from their resume, leader, what they submit, background, experience. So the key question there would be why you, and then you can see here, the comments could be made.
we just want to make sure we have a consensus in the approach. So I'm giving everybody to speak up now. Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, just one major observation.
Yeah.
Just happened to serve on national committees, couple of national committees, and also on the SACS committee. The one topic that comes up all the time, and that has to do with diversity. The commitment to diversity. So that's something that I was glancing through, and I didn't find it among the topics. So it's something to
So you're talking about
to
questions.
consider, yes, on the instrument.
On the instrument.
You're suggesting that diversity be one main topic,
Yes.
so how would you measure diversity?
The commitment to diversity of, yeah,
I usually like to use the term demonstrated. Demonstrated commitment to diversity or something like that. Okay.
But why don't we have that as one of the things we'll assess?
Yeah, if that's,
Because they're pitching why they're the best candidate, but we have some other things that we think should be touched on, so you want to throw everything out. You could make a note whether that was ever mentioned.
that particular question could be added on leadership.
right,
Yeah.
You know, so as an item, it
That
doesn't have
sounds
to be
good.
by itself.
That's
but
true.
How committed are you to diversity?
That's very good.
So what's the consensus?
And maybe
Add
each.
that to the instrument.
Maybe each. Human relations.
Yeah, in H or in B.
I hear the discussion, either leadership or human relations.
That's right.
Yes.
That's-
So then we need a consensus on which of those would it fit in that. Is that what I hear?
Could you repeat that? I'm kind of confused.
The term
Yeah,
exhibiting a commitment to diversity.
the diversity, yeah.
Where does it fit? There's a suggestion to consider item D or item H as a possibility of plugging that in.
Right. I think what Dr. Sabata brought up as a leadership characteristic, that sounds to be more of,
Okay.
to me, I mean.
That could go in D.
Under D,
D,
leadership.
D.
Okay, and the term is commitment to, is that what you said, Dr.?
Demonstrated commitment.
But wouldn't you demonstrate it more if you're talking about the student, faculty, your stakeholders, et cetera? If you really want to measure something? Wouldn't that come more under H?
H,
Human relations, communication skills.
I think if you want to elevate it, you just put it at where it's more prominent, because it's like diversity of ideas, race, gender, so many different things could come on, even inventory of the items that is conducted under Southern University Act, Research and Extension Center. So that, the whole gamut of.
so what have we decided on, let's,
And that is,
want to get
in
everybody's
listening,
input.
in listening to the discussion, and from that, I would almost give diversity its own. I would give it its own, because when you talk diversity, you're not just talking about race, you're
Exactly.
talking about LGBT, you're talking about seniors,
Ideas,
all of that.
all of it,
International, you're talking about
everything.
all of that, and all of that ties in to the human side, but not only the human side, the hiring, the firing, the retention, all of that falls into that. I
Exactly.
guess I would almost,
so we create that as category J then.
That's
Would that be J?
That's very good. idea.
what's that? We were,
What does that mean?
Diversity becomes,
this, oh, okay, oh, yeah, okay. Ms. Jackson said diversity becomes I, and,
Yes, fundraising.
fundraising
I,
is.
and then J.
Oh, okay. Diversity is I, fundraising is J. All right.
This wouldn't slow up the process, but we try to get this out, right? When we have a timeline of 18 months, it's been extended.
What was that, Calvin?
With this change, do the group have to go back and come up with?
Well, what they brought is, my thing is what they brought was a draft of the evaluation. And this evaluation doesn't necessarily solely tie
into the position announcement. This is what
And it just-
when individuals submit their
Yeah.
credentials.
Let me just say this also, whatever questions we do, we need to make sure that each candidate asks those
Oh, yeah.
questions.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been on committees where it did not happen that way. And it's difficult to evaluate candidates if you ask one particular candidate all of the questions, or another one.
We'll approach it carefully because what I've done, I've prepared some discussion points
Okay.
and preparation for the interview process. To make sure we're all on the same wavelength. Okay, good. So are we set with these questions now? Let's go, let's just examine them
Before you
first.
move,
Yeah.
okay, we have a new category, commitment to diversity. What are the items that we look? I think the issue is
You
age,
yeah.
sex, how you frame it to this kind of items.
I mean, I can provide a paragraph that I know that nationally they use, but I bet, we can find.
I can use this, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the approach, as I get the recommendation, is that we start with the questions and then we look at the instrument. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the first one, commitment to institutional/system mission. What is your understanding of the general objectives or mission of the Southern University Ag Center's research and cooperative extension programs? Southwest Center for Rural Initiatives. Do we have the Southwest Center? We have it on the website, right? Yeah, okay, good. Are there any questions regarding that first one? You consider this very relevant? Okay. Educational preparedness and other related training. Although we have a general picture of your career, take a couple of minutes to tell us about your background, experience, and why you're interested in the Chancellor position.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
And it's almost my thinking when I heard that speak. You're gonna go through the questions, but you almost need to do the evaluation instrument along with it.
Right.
Because the evaluation instrument allows you to know if they've answered that question. So in other words, this question is relevant, and then you come over here to these five.
Right.
To see if
Oh, okay.
I'm evaluating the person when they're responding, or will it answer that question?
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good point, good point.
Yes.
So we addressed the first one, commitment to institutional/system mission. Let's look at what we have on the instrument now on the mission and see if we adequately address it. Evidence, someone? Yeah.
Just before you leave,
Yeah.
the first question, just ground. When you read number one, does the candidate automatically assume that the second part of that statement is a question? Because it's not a complete sentence. Or is that question?
Which one?
A1.
A1.
If you read the statement.
Second sentence. Fragment.
It's fragmented.
The candidate won't see the question. We will be reading this to the candidate, asking these questions.
What is your understanding of the general objectives or mission of the Southern University Ag Center's research and cooperative?
I think you have research, cooperative extension, and the Southwest Center for Rural Initiative, and you just finish everything as a complete sentence. Or if you want the research, the cooperative extension, and the Southwest, so you could say this is a three-part question.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Right here. Is the Southwest Center, the Rural Initiative, is incorporated separately at the Southern University Ag Center?
No, it's a part of the Ag Center.
It's an extension of the accent.
So I guess my question would be, if we say Southern University Agricultural Research and Extension Center, so that's the encompassing of all the components that come under that, correct?
So technically, sitting from that thing to tell you, if you ask me that question, I better know about Southwest Center, Extension, and the experiment
Right.
section. Those three, somewhere in my answer,
All of that needs to be there.
Oh, that's what I was just wondering, you know,
So
if you're posing the
So
question.
if you pull, for me, if you pull out the Southwest Center, you almost need to pull out the other entities, and so it would more go in line with, Dr. Menezes was saying, because they all are part of the Ag Center.
So let's see how we can refine that particular question then. Yes,
Do we need to include those other entities, or can we just ask about the research and corporate extension programs? And then we'll know how much the candidate knows
Really
about
know.
what it is that we do, and how much homework that individual has done based upon their answer. Because their response should include something about the experiment station, the Southwest Center, and any other thing.
You should.
So just ask the mission of that, so the Research and Extension Center.
Yeah.
Just ask about the general title, and then you'll measure to what extent it's superficial or they've really done some homework.
so reword that from, part of the question. What is your understanding?
Of the role and mission of the Southern University Agricultural Research and Extension Center.
Yeah, okay.
End of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good point.
Role and mission.
General objectives or mission, whatever it's out there on the web.
Of the Southern University Agricultural Research and Extension Center. And that's all inclusive.
Yeah, and then we just listen to what they say.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. And if that person is very thorough, I'm pretty certain
Then you can check off all your
the
things.
person could easily check on the different programs that are out there, because the Southwest Center is really the extension arm, the main extension arm of the Ag Center. Or one of the primary, you probably call it primary arm, right?
It's one of the extensions.
Yeah.
Of the Ag Center.
Okay, then let's look at the instrument. On the
Before we get
mission.
to this, can I ask make a suggestion, or ask the committee, having sat on other search committees, once you ask that question, one of the things that I found to be helpful, if there's a 1, 2, 3 that you need to hear, and only you can do that as an individual, that helps you to evaluate when that person talks. But that would mean that you need to become familiar with what's on the Ag Center webpage. But it needs to be 1 or 2 things that you hear, that you're listening for, that indicates what's a 5 to you, what's a 4, what's a 3. Because one of the things that exists here for me when you say the understanding of the objective and mission of the Southern University Ag Center, I don't know how many of you sit around the table know that we have a standing MOU with the LSU Ag Center. So that person, that's a part of our mission, outreach, and the relationship is there. So there's certain things that you need to listen to when that person is talking. And if they've done their homework on the website, they'll be able to see that.
Can I make a suggestion? If we can share a document with the committee here, so they would be on the same page, because we're not all,
Okay.
Very
But
good.
is that information out on the website because you want to give every candidate
It's on the
equal?
website. It's on- yeah.
And that's very, very important. We want to make sure that everything is out.
It's not
Plan
biased.
of works
That's
out
right.
there and all that. That you
We
can-
want to eliminate all the bias. Okay.
Okay.
But still, you can do all that, and then that's subjective, in a sense.
Correct.
It's subjective.
Oh, it's gonna be subjective, but there should be, it's almost, then I'll be quiet. It's almost like when I talk, and all y'all, whenever you give an essay question, if you truly gonna evaluate that person, you've written the answer to the essay question. So when you start grading, you know what you're looking for. One person that has an excellent answer shouldn't bias the other answers that come forward from students. And that's all I'm saying, to eliminate as much bias as we can.
But in order to eliminate bias, you need a rubric. So why don't we decide what 3 questions we must hear, so that everybody evaluating is using the same rubric?
That's excellent.
I agree with that.
Questions need to be.
So,
So we'll go through that.
So Gina, what we need on our rubric?
go ahead, man. You raised the issue of rubric. I want to hear that.
Going back to the point of-
What gets the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1?
Dr. McGee,
Yeah.
Dr. McGee had a point.
Back again to essentially how we had, how it was phrased from the beginning, because you're gonna be looking
the
for
rubric, yeah.
research, you're gonna be looking for extension, experimentation, so forth. So I think maybe bullet points that you want to add under there.
Right.
Yeah, you're back to what the components were from the beginning.
I think so, yeah. If we, as members, clearly understood the mission and vision of the Southern University Arts Center, whatever the person said, you could relate with what you know. But if you don't know, then that's where the subjectivity comes.
Yeah, but, you know, the person is talking fast and you're trying to grade and think and assess. So if it's right on your paper, what
Or
you're
in your
looking
head.
for. Yeah, or in your head. But
The committee
it
did-
depends what is in your head when you came here. But if it's on paper, then you can say, aha, that one was mentioned, check, check, check. I like it in front of me.
We have 50 more to go, so we may want to kind of take it up a little bit.
What's that, Kim?
We have-
Well, it's gonna help the others, yeah.
We have 50 more of these. to go.
I got you, Kim.
So we have-
So it's just to list the, research extension or what other components that I'm hearing, we're hearing.
Yeah, which must,
Demonstration.
yeah, these are things that must be mentioned.
Okay. Research and extension, okay. You know, just glancing through this thing, one thing I did not notice, I did not see here, and it has to do with student development. Because I know we're looking for a chancellor for the Art Center, but at the same time, while the Art Center is growing, it seems like there should be a commitment to student development as it impacts the training, because we are really connected to the training of students through our laboratory experience, etc. over here. And I'm trying to see if we need to put a question relating to that. It seems like that would be very
Makes
relevant.
sense.
But not with the
Yeah.
mission, not with the mission.
Because if we get a chancellor here, the chancellor should, in my estimation, be committed to helping the students grow while the Art Center is growing. Students in the food and agricultural sciences, I think that's very, very
Right.
important.
That could be number K.
Huh?
That could be K.
K? You mean a new category? Yeah.
Under,
Under H.
under category H,
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 H1 says maintain good relations with students, faculty, staff, and alumni.
I think he was talking.
H1.
The commitment.
yeah.
or maybe rather than maintain commitment
Yeah.
to student development.
Enhancement of development. I think that's a word, good word, development.
Yeah, development.
You know, let me get it from one person. What are you suggesting now?
Right here.
To
It's-
add,
Modify H1,
H,
H1.
H1,
H1.
you said still maintaining good relations, maintain.
Good relationship and enhance student efforts.
You could,
Maintain and help enhance,
maybe you could put a 1A,
help enhance. Maybe a better term.
maintain good relationship, then you do a 1A, which is a commitment to student development.
How do you
Facilitate,
base
it could
it
be
down
also
on
used as
that?
like facilitate development also.
I remember when we first moved in this building, there was conversation about us not being able to teach in this building.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different. What we're talking about development, the students could be traditional, or students could be transient, the student could be you and I. So I think that development of students, then, you know, in a traditional sense and a broader sense. that
No,
would be-
what I'm looking at, Don, is the broad picture. We look in the Art Center, most of the faculty have joint appointments with Baton Rouge campus. And those on the Baton Rouge campus do teaching and they also do research. And the research is really managed by the Ag Center. So it's hard to separate us from those students because these students are working in the laboratory here. They are in contact with the faculty who may not be teaching. So we are working.
I understand that, but the conversations then were, if students were employed here by the researchers and extension personnel, then they could use the facilities here, but they were not, classes were not supposed to be held here.
That's correct.
And if that's the case, will we be opening ourselves up to something if we say that the chancellor of this campus has to have a role in student development? Is that something, will we be opening ourselves up to something if we know that's against the rules?
I think we discussed.
I have a
Alice,
line
can you chime in
item
on this?
for student
Can I
workers.
graduate?
So if
So that USDA expects students to be involved in everything that we do.
I never heard the concept, but I mean, it may have been conversation back in the day,
Yeah.
during the building, but I would want the students to have involvement, especially in our labs and doing research with the professors and the researchers here, but, you know, that may have been something that, was talked about in the past. I just wouldn't want to, like you, I think it should be seamless. They should be incorporated in what we do in this building, especially research.
Yeah.
If I can interject, within the, what we're discussing, like research, NIFA funding, which makes up a big portion of our funding in the Ag Center, it relies on what we call, help me out, in the kind of work. So if you have grad students and so on and so forth, to the extent that sometimes we do put instructional things on in there and gets funded under the umbrella of the Ag Center. So sometimes you need to cater to that, and it makes sense that we are, as a part of our delivery, in fact, we're involved with the student development at the grad level, sometimes the undergrad level, sometimes students who are potential to be the students, the residents.
One other comment, Dr. Malad, when Dr. Bartuska visited us a couple years ago, Deputy Administrator of NIFA, her comment was, where are the students in this building? When she toured this building, her question when she went to the airport was, where are the students in this building? So I definitely don't think, USDA would have seen it as a separate building that didn't, wasn't for the use of.
We are not suggesting that we open up the building for teaching. That's not it.
Right.
Because this building was not designed
Within
for
the
that.
framework of
Absolutely.
SU Ag
So
Center.
we just want to make sure we're not doing that. The building is designed for research and extension.
Right.
But at the same time, while we're doing research and extension, we benefit the development of the students.
Right.
Exactly.
Because we are in the same ballpark. We are dealing with food and agricultural sciences.
That's right.
So,
I'd like to
Yeah,
add.
I just have a question, please, sir.
yes.
And Dr. Newland, check me out.
Yes, sir.
Now, I served on the search committee for Vice Chancellor, Director of the LSU Extension Service. And research, teaching, and extension was a part of the ball of wax. It was emphasized. Now, I don't know about your delineation of farms as to how it's handled, but mention of that was made. That we've got people with 20% teaching, 80% research, or whatever the assignments were. And they made it a part that we were all inclusive.
But it's kind of organized a little differently down at LSU. But what I'm getting at here, if you submit a proposal to USDA, and I'm talking about from experience, if you submit one of those proposals and you do not show how you're going to impact student development, your proposal is at a disadvantage. And that's the reason I raised that, In other words, we're not getting a chancellor here to be running an academic program. But we are saying that it's very important that the Chancellor who is coming here is very sensitive to the development of students in the food and agricultural sciences.
Right.
Because that's the only way we can grow as an accent.
And that's what Lee was just saying.
Yeah.
And LSU has a similar annual mission.
Yes.
Because in 10 years, none of us will be here.
Right.
We will be retired somewhere.
And also as a
teaching,
major,
that
One person
instruction,
at a time.
that instruction is a part of it. I have another one, suggestion would be for number H, we could create a number 8 in line with what you're looking.
Yeah.
Because number 6 says, is involved in appropriate community activity, which is a good one. Another possibility could be with that student piece, whether it be youth, the.
Excuse me, Calvin, what are you talking from? You're talking from these questions?
H, yes, of the
Instrument.
the instruments. H, and the number 8 could be, is involved in appropriate student development activities. We have a 6 that says, is involved in appropriate community activities. And as Cameron and all of us is saying, you can't de-link them. Some way, youth development, livestock show, youth expo, whatever it may be, has a student component. And so we need to have one criteria that we can ask these candidates, how do they see it? Lee, you mentioned joint appointment. You know, if we're gonna survive as a land grant here at Southern, we're gonna need something like that. And I would like all of these candidates to address that.
and also currently we report FTE of the students at the Ag Center. So either, you know, if we maintain that, you know, we need to address that issue.
And that's the point I was trying to make. I don't want us going down a slippery slope. I know we are about research and extension in the Ag Center, but I'm looking at the big picture. If we're dealing with the land grant mission, we're talking about teaching, research, and extension. So despite the fact that teaching is handled by the Baton Rouge campus, but we are dealing with students that are impacted by us in several ways. So it's difficult to decouple them. It looks like you got to show some relationship or some commitment to helping them as they grow, and that's the only way we can grow as an accent.
I agree.
And I guess what I said to you, and I've been trying to think of a question.
Yeah.
That needs to be, what one would say, a generic question that will allow that individual to have done their homework. We don't want to give a question that guides them into the response that we're looking for. Because technically, the Ag Center, the research and extension component, already supports the teaching. Okay, we support the teaching as far as faculty, going to meetings and everything. Okay, but the dollars that are designated here at the Southern University Ag Center for research and extension are to be expended in that way. Okay, and to go back to what Mr. Hampton said a few minutes ago, we find that at LSU Ag Center because the amount of dollars above the federal dollars that they receive has allowed them to continue to place a greater emphasis on that teaching component. We receive dollar for dollar when we start talking about state dollars and federal dollars. But already we do support, we pulled together some documents for the president's office that shows the amount of resources, human and financial, that we provide for students in the college.
I think we're saying the same thing, at least I am, and I think you are.
Right.
And that's why we need to have something that speaks in a broader term to that, because you could get a chancellor, if he comes from the outside, he may say, Ag Science, Dr. Sabatu, you can't teach anymore. Cameron, Curtis, you cannot teach. So we need to have something in there to speak to the students and how you all have been an integral part of keeping the Department of Ag Science and Urban Forestry afloat without compromising the mission of research and extension in the Ag Science. So I think we can come up with a.
I think we could, we're basically saying the same thing. I think we all agree, I think. what we need to do is just add one main topic, like academic accountability, and then say, response to student needs, encourages faculty to teach and mentor students or something. We could add all those things and, so
Okay, we have a sub.
what cannot say though is
Education.
education. What cannot say though is, I think what the controversy comes is, his main responsibility should not be on the academics, but he should support academics. I think that's what we should be very careful.
We say the same thing.
Okay, so let's just refine that now. What's the question?
Oh, the question, the one that I suggested would be in line with number 6.
No, I think let's have a new thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Teaching,
Yeah, this is
teaching
gonna
and,
I think Dr. Sabato has a better idea, if you can
But
just
just use mine.
articulate this.
Because you have 6 that says is involved in appropriate community activities.
let that stand as this.
Right.
Let's have a new,
And number
6A.
8, and number 8, as I mentioned, is of consideration. It could be is involved in appropriate student development activities or educational activities, which is kind of broad. Without saying that.
I suggest that we include this information on H.
6A.
H.
Yeah.
Number
And
8.
what I'm saying is, why don't we create a new category?
Too many categories.
Which would be K.
Yeah.
Well, I'm for that too. I would prefer that.
Come on, folks, you guys are splitting hairs now. We got to move along.
Right.
We got to move along.
Dr. Sabato, you can.
Let's just decide on one question then. What item? Is that A?
Dr. Sabato suggested a category,
So it'll
and
be
that
K.
seems to be appropriate.
That would be
I
K.
think we could create a new category and
No
take
problem there.
8 and
No,
6 and put them under the teaching.
And remember, we have 50 more to go, so.
Yeah, we have a.
Yeah, and that's why here before 3.
I don't want to confuse, Ms. Batiste. Exactly where that change gonna be? The bottom?
I think the way it seems now, we're going to add a new category
Which would
on
be
teaching.
Right.
And then put support student activities and encourage faculty members to teach and mentor students, something like that. Like what Mr. Hassan.
Could we just use a phrase like, supports all areas of the land grant mission?
Strictly academics.
Teaching has to be in there.
Suggestion.
Teaching has to be development.
I'm gonna ask Mr. DeQuay to make.
I have a suggestion, and only because I've probably sat in 10 search committee meetings for 4 different campuses in the last 2 months.
Oh, Lord.
It's, everything from UNO to Southern Shreveport. Instead of trying to hammer out what you think the candidate should know, just ask the candidate what you think the role should be with respect to students, and you'll get a bunch of different ideas, some of which you like, some you don't like. Y'all are trying to determine what the candidate should know.
Yeah.
Or rather than just be open-ended about it and generically ask them, what do you think the role for the Ag Center is with respect to students? And let them try to figure out, these smart people, let them give you the answer. The ones who do it right, you write it down, the ones who don't.
Right.
And shorten up your question.
Well said,
That sounds good.
Thank
50 more
you.
to go.
Yeah, that's great, that's great.
Yeah, very good.
Then you could just keep it under H.
Just ask the candidate what they think the role is with
We still
respect
can
to
have
students.
K, we still can
What
have
do you think,
What do you think the role of the
Right. Ag Center is with respect to
with respect to students? Very
Yes.
good point, very good point.
Wonderful.
That'll be K, and that'll be the question under that.
Vocabulary, don't give me any vocabulary. Where do you put that there? You got it, Mr. Parker?
I think we'll add a question on H, down on H.
Okay.
On H, it
Number 8.
says, what do you think would the role of the Ag Center be in relation to students and teaching? On H, as a question.
I got it.
Yeah, okay, good deal.
You got
Let's
that?
move on.
I got it.
Yeah, y'all did a great job.
All right, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's get to the last one.
Can we move on now, Gina?
Yeah.
Oh, we have some questions lined up here on the mission, on the instrument itself. Have we addressed the mission portion adequately?
I think we haven't addressed questions for number 4. We say innovative ways to accomplish the mission, but we haven't asked the question.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, on the mission, on number 4, A4, there is evidence to develop innovative ways to accomplish the mission, but we haven't asked. So the question we have to ask is, what's your understanding about the mission? But we should also say, and how would you implement that will tell us the ways?
I think that, yeah. See how they would.
What's the
How would they
question?
implement?
What's the question?
Commitment to.
Yeah, on A, number 4, A4, it says evidence to develop innovative ways to accomplish the mission.
Okay. And there should be a question that say, could you outline
How would you accomplish that?
your strategy in accomplishing the mission?
Yeah, you don't guide.
The question is, yeah, good point, very good point.
So number 1 is what is your understanding, and number 2 is how would you accomplish? Is that what you're saying?
What is your strategy?
What your strategy to accomplish this?
Well, assume it is there already, so you maintain it.
We want to be more than maintain.
Innovating.
What was that? What is your strategy in achieving that mission?
Yeah.
Achieving the mission.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we move on now to B, educational preparedness and other related training. Although we have a general picture of your career, take a couple minutes to tell us about your background, experience, and why you're interested in the Chancellor's position.
Can you make a suggestion? If we rephrase that, because resume would pretty much give us the educational background. Now, if we say how educational preparedness would allow you to function or something of that nature, where how you apply that education in moving this, certain Ag Center's agenda, because they can go over their resume, just read the way the question is phrased.
You make it with the term briefly.
Yeah, but there may be a little story that they have there on the side.
Right, the application of the,
Which is not in the resume, like something happened that you
Something
should
just
on that
anecdotal.
career path, which might be very interesting, but it's not on the thing.
So,
So let them tell you in their own words. What they think.
Use the word briefly.
yes,
I have a quick question of clarity as I listen to what we're talking about and what Dr. Jelion Patan mentioned earlier. Will this document be used to, or I should back up and say, is it the intent of this committee to interview all of the applicants? Or is it the intent of this committee to scale down the initial group of applicants to determine which ones will be interviewed?
Should be scaled down.
This instrument is at the interview process.
So when we're talking about posing these questions, are we posing them of their application packet or of that person?
The individual.
The person.
But
So that's
that's
just an interview. Are you talking about interviewing all of the applicants or the scaled down approach? I guess what I'm trying to ask is how will you get to the point of interviewing the applicants? What type of rubric or tool will you use to determine who will be interviewed?
Well, that was the intent why I asked for the committee to develop the instrument.
Right.
Because we are hoping to use this, the evaluation instrument to scale down. Because let's say we have 8 applications, I'm just saying that hypothetically. We should be at a point where we say, okay, we're only going to be interviewing top 6. And from that, we get 3 finalists, okay? So we get our semifinalists and our finalists. So we probably, we wouldn't interview everyone.
So if we need to scale down, then the interview questions and this rubric might need to change. Huh?
Well, we need another evaluation.
Well, we can do that while the
Scale them
announcement is
down.
out, right?
I think it would be done for both, really. If you look at the last page, we didn't intend to do that, but we said, okay, after filling this form, it says, yes, invite for interview, no, don't invite, you know? So this is really for, it looks as if it's for preliminary screening. You know, if you have 10 applicants, then we might probably call 6, depending on this interview, on just paper evaluation, not interview.
But yeah, but in terms of being fair and also from the legal standpoint, I guess we have to follow one set of instrument applying to all of the applications received. And then from that, then the selected entities will be.
I think what is, could I raise a point here? I think what is bogging down the process is that we're trying to address the questions and the instrument at the same time. It seems like we make more progress if we just look at the instrument, this evaluation instrument here, and see if we have an instrument here that we think we could use to scale down, and to eliminate some applicants. And from that, we can design the questions.
After we finish the reading.
Yeah?
And it could be from this instrument to scale down the applicants, we could use a derivative of this instrument.
Yeah.
Because all of these questions wouldn't fit.
Yes.
In scaling down. So it may be something that the committee could quickly do while the position announcement is being advertised.
So
we do have to
we're giving your experience in this process now.
Use this instrument to scale down the resumes, just looking at the paper.
Yeah.
Probably about a third of these questions need
Yeah.
to be eliminated. Some of these questions, like
take
evidence of ability to resolve significant problems that SUAREC may face, that's an interview question. You're not gonna get that from a resume or a cover letter. But things like educational background, experience with budgeting, you will get that from a resume or a cover letter, because that's the type of background stuff. So I would look at just questions you think you can eliminate on this instrument, and then have each person fill it out just based on the paper, and take the original instrument and you could use it again after you interview with the more detailed questions.
Okay. Okay.
So you'd have 2 of these, one that's probably about a page and a half short, and then you have the original one that after you interview a candidate, you take 5 minutes and you score how that candidate interviewed.
How about the evaluation forms? You do have this one, right? I'm looking at it. Okay, is that the one?
Yeah, it's in.
Okay, yeah.
What he says is appropriate, because this evaluation is ditto.
Because there is one question, we have the interview questions, and then we have.
I'm saying this form as it's prepared is the type of form a search committee would complete right after interviewing a candidate.
Yeah.
Because that's where you would get all of this stuff. You know, a shorter version of this is what you would complete when you just look at the resume to determine who you want to interview.
But isn't that instrument coming from your position announcement? You could almost write it from that. Yes. Because you're checking off, if somebody has a PhD in English, then clearly that person is out already.
This is still good.
Ms. Tracy, you have the floor.
I was just gonna ask, I heard Robin, and I totally agree with Mrs. Queer, but in the event, if you don't get a large number of candidates to apply, will you, there's a question of whether will you download, will you still evaluate them, you come up with a number, or will you interview all of them? You should be prepared for both.
Yeah.
Because you may not, Chancellor have 27 homes, 21, so they have to scale down. So if you don't get them.
Let's say we get 3, for example.
If you only get 3.
We'll have, if you have 3, go ahead.
Then man, our life is
Then
easy.
you would probably either you
Still have to consider.
Yeah, you have to
You
consider.
can evaluate
Still
them
evaluate.
and rate them, but, I mean, you may want to interview too.
Yeah,
Or send one.
I mean, let's say we get three, and this is our hypothetical. Then, and they seem to meet the basic criteria, then we interview all three.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Number one criteria
Yeah.
here that differs from SUSLA and potentially the law center is what it degrees.
Specialties.
Especially, this is a
Number
more
one, that's
specialized.
Yeah.
why, we could get a PhD in English, history and all like that. But this committee has clearly said that we need an individual that has a terminal degree in the
Right.
food and agriculture and related sciences.
But you go to the website, it did not say that. It said doctoral degree in, what was it?
I haven't looked at it.
That's on the website.
But it's on the website. We'll take care of it.
We can correct that. This
Oh, yeah,
committee, a couple people called me after we met the last time
Yeah.
and stressed the importance of the individual that comes, that applies for the Ag Center's chancellor position, that they have that degree in the food, agriculture, and related sciences.
We'll take
Yeah,
care
and
of
I sit there and we just probably missed it in communication.
it. Yeah, but that's fine. This committee still can
Yes, very good.
can do what it
Whereas
has.
with SUSLA and with the law center, it could have been a wider
Right.
range there.
The lawsuit is still long.
Yeah, but it could have been a wider range, but it's important for the success
If you look at
of the candidate.
And the instrument that we have will weed those others out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doctoral from any accreditation,
That's fine.
any doctor.
If it's not, that's fine. We can take care of
We can
it.
do that.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this.
bring them on.
Our IT person is right here, you can,
Just in the food and agriculture.
yeah, we'll change that first line. I'll give you.
Yeah, in the food and agriculture.
Terminal degree.
Something like this.
Is a DVM is a terminal degree, isn't it?
So what is it to change in the first bullet point?
Yes.
The,
An doctorate in the food and agricultural sciences
right.
from an accredited institution.
So you don't want any DVM?
And related sciences.
DVM?
He's asking about DVM.
If you put
Well, that would still be a doctorate.
Yeah, it's a
It's a terminal.
A DBA is a doctorate, so if you want to use the word doctorate, that's
Professional degree.
all inclusive.
It's really a master's.
Now, what we just
Oh, yeah.
talked about,
Get a
sitting here
PhD.
discussing,
It's really a
thank you, Dr.
master's.
Sabatu. That would eliminate who we move to the next level right there.
Yeah, right now.
If we review this, and then this
Based on
definitely
this.
becomes our set of questions
Right.
that we ask of the candidate. That, if somebody's applying,
Yeah.
and if they, worst they saw, they're gonna make sure all of that's in there.
Amen.
Okay, and if it's not in there,
Students?
bye-bye.
That's the base by that.
Yeah. So we don't have to spend any time determining
It's already been.
how we eliminate it. It's right there.
That's it.
Once we make that change, and we look at it, and that's it.
It has been announced.
Yes, yes.
Now, the only thing,
Yeah.
I bring up is that there are people who've applied based on this.
Not yet.
Now,
Nobody
you,
has
Just-
applied. Oh, okay.
It's not gone out yet?
So the announcement has not gone out.
That's true.
It's on the
when
web.
did it go?
The announcement went out, but the announcement is very generic. The announcement drives everyone to the website. The announcement simply announces the position and not the qualifications. And so the intent was to drive everything to the website, for all the details of the search, just in order to save a little money and space on all that. So we're gonna make this change very quickly.
And we need to make it quickly because Carolyn Brooks, when we send it to her, she gonna work it. Or they'll watch the vote.
Right,
And it's
it's
there.
got the web link.
It's out there. It's out there. And for those, Dr. Brooks is the
Right.
the executive research director for our research director.
I think
And
she,
then Washington is for extension administration. And that puts it to the entire system, whether it be 1890 or 1862. Okay.
This committee can easily handle whatever happens because of the experience. If you in education or ED, what's that, ED? you will fall short, missing some of the other criteria, so it won't be a difficult challenge to select.
So do they want,
So based on,
I have a
Mr.
question.
Dillon,
so,
Based on Mr.
do you want it to
Attorney
have the
Boyd.
same verbiage as the questionnaire or? Okay.
What'd you say, Mr. DeQuick?
I would take that list and just have your committee apply a 1 to 5 score to
That's
each
right.
category of the list for each application, and use that to determine who you interview. Each one of those bullets, you could just say, you could distribute a version of that list, and y'all can individually put the resumes next to the list and score each resume 1 to 5 on those categories, and determine who rises to the top. Then you can just do detailed interview.
So we have the elimination instrument already, so we're
That's the
Take that list,
pre-screen.
because some of those will be easy, if you have a doctor, you don't, 0 to 5, but some of those, people may have some evidence, not a lot, so you might give them a 3 or a 4, not necessarily a 5, so I just put a 1 to 5 on each of those categories and use that to screen your initial resumes.
And I guess in evaluating things and everything, if it's below a 3, just make some notes to yourself as to why it's below a 3. So when you come back in a committee group, that if somebody says, well, I gave him 5, why you give him a 3? You got your evidence that you've read the visa or the resume to say, okay, this is why I gave him a 3. And you tell me why you gave him 5.
By the way, on the same note, we have to decide outliers and that kind of stuff in that situation where somebody puts 0.
okay, you put 0 when you have 1 to 5.
I say below a 3.
Let me tell you.
Help me out.
The quickest way to evaluate candidates is each person scores them with a screening tool, right?
Independent.
Then you tabulate all the scores and you rank the candidates.
Yeah.
You draw a cutoff line.
Yeah.
And let's say you draw a cutoff line at 4 and you have 10 candidates. You don't debate the top 4. What you ask your committee is, does anybody have a candidate that's number 5 or lower or have an argument should be in the top 4? Because if everybody agrees on number 1, don't waste your time on number 1.
Yeah.
What you debate is, okay, here's the top 4 numerically. Let's open the floor to, does somebody have a candidate not in the numerical top 4 that they think warrants merit for an interview?
Yeah.
And you talk about, like NCAA, the people on the bubble.
Yeah.
That's the ones you debate, not the bottom, not the top, but those candidates between 3 and 6 that should they get an interview or should they not get an interview? And you'll really shorten your time.
Yes.
I've seen groups start at number 1 and they spend a lot of time and everybody's like, well, that's a perfect candidate. Well, why'd you spend 30 minutes talking about it? Just talk about the ones on the bubble. And what you'll find out with most committees, y'all will all agree on 3 or 4. And then you're gonna debate numbers 5, 6, and 7. Who's gonna be in the top 6? And that's what you'll discuss.
so let me see, what's the consensus now? We're gonna base our evaluation strictly on these items here.
Initial
Initial screen.
Free is free. But then it goes to
That'll be for the interview.
Then we go next to,
Well, after that.
okay. So we use that as a screening, and then we put our numerical scores beside that, from 1 to 5.
Yep.
Okay, good.
outliers.
So what about these basic questions now? Where do we go from here now? In other words, we put up one instrument around that.
I think the committee did such a great job.
Yes.
They did it.
And we do have time. I think we need to look at it and maybe in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, submit some back to this group because.
I think the committee did an excellent job.
But I guess what I'd ask you to keep in mind, to not ask the question, trying to give the person a lead on the answer. Okay, and let me give you an example. I sat here a minute ago, and I was the one that said diversity. Now, this is what I've come up with. How would you define workplace diversity?
That's what you do.
Yes.
I'm not leaving them at all. I want to know what you tell me what workplace diversity. And we can play with that word in any way. But that opens up the gateway for that person
to see if they know what I'm talking about with diversity, or they gonna just talk about race diversity,
Right.
or they gonna talk about more. Then at the same time, if there's a need for a second portion, how would you develop, have you developed a diversity plan? Or have you provided the leadership for the development of a diversity plan? That's the only two questions.
That's true.
That will open up and let you know what I know and what I don't know. So as we look at these questions, I would beg us to keep that in mind, and not to try to give the person the answer. See what the person has to say.
That's true.
And it needs to be beyond yes or no.
Yes. And see that, yeah.
Briefly, because we need to see
That's good,
if
Cal.
what they're saying is true.
Concisely.
Yeah. But if they say yes and they don't have anything else, then that's zero.
That's the.
We know what we're gonna see.
I'm not saying anything, I'm saying thank you.
That's true.
So let's go over this strategy now. We're gonna develop our screen to strictly on the items listed here, okay? And we score them 1 to 5. Okay.
The lower 3, you need to have some notes for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would that do with the instrument that they put together here?
This is
when we bring them into.
Don't relate.
Okay.
This is your interview.
This is the interview
Once we
question.
get it down to the three or whatever, we're gonna come in and look face to face.
No. But we're dealing with interview questions and we're also dealing with an evaluation instrument. So what I'm saying now, would that evaluation instrument would this one be discarded?
No, it's, you're evaluating them based on the questions that are on this paper. They're running together.
We got it.
You had 15 applicants, now you have 6.
Yeah.
And what Calvin had asked you, can we have a little bit longer to look at this?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Is that what you asked Calvin a minute ago?
I was asking Dr. Walker about 1890 land grant versus land grant. So I was curious, do we have to capture that somewhere where?
Right here, got land grant.
Or is that important to this body? You know, that's, I guess.
You say germane, it's number 3.
You said strong background.
Germane to the land grant mission. So you're saying maybe we should put.
No, I
In the
don't think.
qualifications, it says 1890.
Well, this is where,
It says background of 1890 land grant mission.
you
Kind
know,
of referring to the rubrics, what can we put on these here? Number 3.
yeah, I guess I was
Number 1890.
I guess I was asking,
Let me see what it says.
I guess I was asking that question more from the legal standpoint. Is that gonna be a limiting, if we base that on 1890 land grant mission versus just a land grant mission? Is that gonna be, or it's up to us?
It's up to y'all.
So I go with 1890 land grant. Because it's more visible. 1890 land grant. Because we have a specific mission.
Is it necessary to make that change to the third item? And it's already listed in the paragraph, in the beginning paragraph. It says strong background in 1890 land grant mission. So is it necessary to come back at the bottom and put that in again? Is that necessary to make those changes when that is already on that website?
So if you have it, that's fine. I couldn't read it, you know, from this. I was asking.
It's up there.
It's up there, yeah. So if it's up there, fine. Yeah.
Because for those, and all of you realize that when you say 1890, there's 5 regions. And 1890 within the scope of things is a region of itself. But we don't operate in isolation. We operate in conjunction with the other regions, the western, the northeast, the northwest, and the southern region. We meet jointly with the southern region.
That's right.
The research directors as well as the extension director.
18 institutions.
19. 20.
Huh?
I'm saying, rather than.
Oh, okay.
It's pushing.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Hey.
Make a comment while I go.
So at the point now, the committee has developed, we've come to the conclusion that we know that we're gonna use the pre-screening that's listed on the website.
Right.
Okay. So where we are now,
Which
we're in the process now, looking with regard to specific interview questions and the evaluation instrument of what's there. Okay, and we've made it just through the educational preparedness. We haven't made it any further than that. And I guess what is incumbent upon us to now look at the administrative experience and other related training, the leadership ability, the management, the management effectiveness, the fiscal management, the daily decision making, all of those that are there. Okay. I've looked at it, just sitting here with y'all. For me, I don't have any heartburns of what's here, but I think it would be advisable, the committee, Dr. McGee, Mr. Hampton, Dr. Sabatu, Dr. Patan, if there are any burning issues that you have, if you designate which one of y'all would like to receive all of those comments from us, okay? And then just shoot it back out to the committee. Because based on thus far where we've been in this hour and 15 minutes, we'll be here the rest of the afternoon.
That's right.
The rest of the afternoon. I kind of glanced through it, and there's no burn, they've done due diligence. We pointed out about the diversity. I have a question for that, okay? All right, so you tell me what we want to do. Because we do need to talk about the next meeting. Dr. Millett and I also want to share with you that we are going to have a conversation with Dr. Belton relative to the timeline. And if he, today we were going to try to have it right after this meeting, but we're going to have that time frame. And I'll express to you what I've expressed between Dr. Millett and myself. We are the Southern University Agricultural Research and Extension Center. And I think we need to have due diligence that we do not place an advertisement out with a deadline of February the 19th. We are a campus. And I want us, as the Ag Center, to truly be the campus that we are. If I'm serious about applying for this position, and if it hits the internet today, and you have a deadline of the 19th, I'm probably not going to apply.
Unless you're sitting on the application, Eric.
Unless I'm sitting on the application. At least put it there for 30 days, for a month. So what Dr. Millett and I are going to please and discuss with Dr. Belton is that at least can we appoint our chancellor, our next chancellor, at the April board meeting, which will give us a little bit more time. Give us the due process. The Law Center has had that process, and so it's a report. And we would like to have the same thing. Now, if you come back and tell me, no, we're going to roll with it. Let's roll. But I'm going to make it clear. I'm going to make it clear. We're going to make it clear.
And the reason for us to.
Did the law center get an extension?
I'm listening, Mr. Quick.
I'm going to give you some background from the president.
One of the issues is going into a legislative session where there's going to be higher ed restructuring on the table. You don't really want a campus without a leader. And that's why the president's pressing. You understand? A campus without a permanent leader could be put on the table as well. Why do we really need that?
Could be at the chopping block.
And so the president's looking at the tea leaves saying, I want all my campuses to have permanent leaders. I want them done before the legislature has to decide if we have too many schools.
And that's what really drives the time.
So let's make this deadline.
Yeah. So let's just work with what we have.
So I'm not saying don't ask.
I'm saying I need to have the conversation.
He's got other stuff going on.
I need that. Because if we didn't, and I say this, and I can repeat this, if we didn't have the individual that's interim right now, I would be scared like this queer. But the individual that's interim for the chancellor, the interim chancellor for the Ag Center has dealt with the legislature, has respect of the legislature, And if it wasn't an individual
So let's make
that
that.
had those skills.
So
I
let's-
just wanna ask you, I wanna make it clear.
So that's what he's looking at.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, with that said, is there a chance of freeze, any possibility of all these positions be frozen, due to budget crisis?
Like
The
last-
search,
No, I mean, you have a chancellor in the budget, you will be permitted to.
Okay.
your
Yes,
chancellor.
so that's not the issue.
He's
That's
thinking
not the
about
issue.
vulnerability because,
Yeah, I'm thinking big picture.
yeah, if
campus.
you look at the big picture and you present a campus without a head, then it could be
Okay.
very vulnerable. Yeah, that's
So-
what I'm getting.
So based on this, let's make the deadline. We can do it.
Yeah, okay.
So that's good to know.
Yeah,
With you and Dr. Glad being co-chair, y'all can drive us, we can get this.
all right.
W.
So you expecting me not to make that plea?
I am.
Cause I wanna make that plea.
Let's
I want you to make
a deadline.
You tell me. I wanna make that plea.
What's your wish? What's your
You
wish?
tell me what you plead.
Because Dr. Eubanks and I were planning on having that discussion with the president. So if you think it's
Based on the
not
charge.
necessary,
Go ahead with the discussion.
Okay, based on the charge.
I'm listening now.
I'm looking at the timeline, and there's a March 2nd date, and the next date is the 17th. I believe that the candidates need more time. However, it seems like there's time here between the 2nd and the 17th that we can make up without moving the selection time back. What do you think? I got quite a few calls over the weekend. I even put a text out there to someone because universities and USDA were contacting me saying, we've been looking for the vacancy, we don't see it. That concerns me because, you know, when I'm applying for something, I want the vacancy to adequately apply for that position. So yes, I could have been poised and ready to apply, but there's some things you need to wait on in the criteria and such to be able to, you know, make a complete and successful application. So there just seems to be almost, 15 days in here? So can we move back one of the dates of the semifinalist interviews or something like that versus actually moving, you know, changing on the tentative timeline for Search Committee 2016 tentative timeline? It says March 2nd.
But
That's semifinalist interviews.
But deadline for application is February 10th.
But I'm saying, we can move that deadline
It's
back,
19.
we can move the deadline back for applications.
Rodney has a hand.
Just as a point of clarification, in talking to human resources, the deadline was moved to February 19th.
Okay, I
So,
still have
Okay.
10
Okay.
Change.
February 19th.
It is-
So they already told February
Okay,
19th.
okay, so it's not the 10th.
It's not the
So that's fine.
The 19th.
Oh, that's good.
That's what y'all want to meet on that, 2 weeks. So y'all got it already.
Okay.
I think there was some concern about moving it a little bit further than.
Yeah,
that.
to
We were thinking
the end of
about
February,
moving
I
it
think it can move to the end
a
of
little
February.
more than
February
19th.
29th.
I do what you tell me to do.
End of February.
February 29th.
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Yes.
whatever it takes to clear your conscience, I've probably been around Dr. Belton more than most of you. He is gonna tell you just exactly what he thinks. So just go and get your conscience clear. So you won't worry about it.
That's right.
Right.
But he's gonna tell you what he thinks, and he's not gonna be bashful about it. Because just like the counselor said over there, he's looking at the big picture. But if it makes you feel better, go ahead and do it so you won't have to listen to that.
Right, I agree.
I don't think there's any harm in it.
That's my point.
Yeah,
Just ask any harm.
Right, I'm listening.
I wanted to point
Yeah,
to
make
make,
that-
if you all turn to your tentative timeline that we were operating from. So you know, we added today's meeting that wasn't originally on the timeline, so we did add that, and the deadline is moved to the 19th. We're gonna ask your indulgence to move the Wednesday, February 17th meeting to the following week, if possible, because we will be in Shreveport finalizing that search on the 17th.
So what's the date?
So the new date will be the 24th of February, which is a Wednesday.
24th of
Wednesday's a
February.
bad day, right?
Wednesday's
For
I'm
teaching.
sorry, that's correct, I'm sorry.
Make it
Thursday the
25th.
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 My notes
Make
say
that-
Thursday.
make that Thursday.
Thursday, the
Thursday, the
25th. And we can determine the time. It will definitely be the afternoon, but
So our next meeting is gonna be on,
Thursday, the 25th of February.
What time?
It's up to the committee.
I'll say stick with it, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yeah.
And we should come with our ranking, right?
The what?
Ranking, the deadline is 19, we should get those, we should have those.
Score sheet should be complete.
Score sheet.
Pre-screening score sheet should be complete.
Yes, come to the meeting with your score sheet.
We should have the screening, yeah, the screening score sheet.
They'll tabulate it here.
Right.
Everything ready to go.
Yeah, we need to make the legislative deadline.
Right.
Be full strength. This is here, 20 hours.
I got you. I got you.
Got my phone?
It's yours.
Yeah, you got mine.
Ms. Mary.
So what does the March
I know I got you.
2nd or
Please, one person at a time.
The question, thank you, Dr. Malad. The question on the floor was whether or not the Wednesday, March 2nd date holds. And I think since this committee is having concerns about meeting on Wednesday, perhaps we should move that to Thursday, March the 3rd.
Check and see if I have any doctor's appointment.
Let me Skype you.
Skype him in.
Dr. Eubanks,
I'm
isn't that the beginning of the livestock show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
It starts that day.
So why don't we
Let's
move
take
it
the original
to
name. Let's go with the original name.
February?
Livestock show.
Will any of us have any responsibilities that afternoon for a couple of hours?
Those of us who teach,
How about February
by 11.
25th?
On
You have class on Thursday?
Okay.
You have class on Thursday, come on?
Okay, well, I can make whatever time.
I think Wednesday the 2nd is okay.
Yeah, Wednesday.
I'm in class on Wednesdays.
We can't do that earlier, like
We'll
29th
take your sheets.
or
I'll take your sheets.
25th of February.
That's way down in March.
Do it earlier,
Could I have,
29th or
we're getting
25th.
some confusion here. One person, please. Who has the floor now? Dr. Abdullah.
I was just thinking, can we just do that on 25th, Thursday, 25th of February?
What? I cannot be.
We're gonna move that to
It's
24.
We're already meeting on Thursday, the
We are
25th.
meeting on Thursday, the 25th.
We're looking at the March 3rd.
Okay, you'll pass it.
Which is the next week.
And March the 3rd.
Just make adjustment, that's all.
And so just to talk about logistically what will happen, on the 25th, you all will probably determine who you would want to interview. And so the following meeting, which would be the 2nd or the 3rd of March, whichever day works best, will be the day that you will be actually doing the interviews.
Yeah, right.
So that's what's going to take place. So if it's a candidate or applicant rather from out of town, and we may need to get them here, we may need a little bit more lead time to get them in place. Just depends on where they're coming from. And we'll make every effort between the Ag Center and the President's office to get them here as economically as possible.
So committee, what looks reasonable in terms of logistics? We'll be meeting on the 25th. That's,
1 p.m.
and that would be a week after the deadline. So that would give us enough chance to at least get the application, because given the way the process is described, the applications will be coming to you, Robin.
Right, they're going to come to the email bank, and I will forward them to the co-chairs of the committee.
Okay.
And then we can forward them out to the committee members from there. They're coming in through our website.
Okay.
And then from there, you can begin the evaluation process, so that when we get here on the 25th, we'll probably have some really good idea of who we want to really meet.
Okay.
So, if that makes sense. So you have a few days, the deadline is the 19th. It's been our experience in the previous searches that most of the applications cluster around the deadline date. In 4 to 5 days of the deadline, that's when we get the bulk of the applications. Not many people like to get out there early. They don't want because this is a public search, they know that their information can be out there early, and, you know, competition's always looking to see who else is submitted before they submit theirs. So that's been our experience, and Winston and Tracy can share that sentiment. So with that, you'll have a few days from the 19th to the 24th to make, 25th, I'm sorry, to make your assessments personally, individually rather. And then we'll come back together as a group and decide just who will be invited in for interview.
Okay. And then the actual interview starts on, what did we decide, on Thursday, March 3rd?
March 3rd.
Is it March 3rd?
March 3rd.
Yeah, Thursday, March 3rd. Okay. Help me again. In the interview process, is it closed or it's open to the public?
It's both. The interview commences in the public, and you usually do 2/3 to 3/4 of it in public session. And then you have the opportunity, if you want, to go into closed executive session. And we usually recommend do 10 or 15 minutes. It's really, the executive session is a chance for candidates to share anything that may be unbecoming in a background check, a former voter of confidence, a former employee sued them, that they don't necessarily need to share in open session. You know, it's a chance to say, yeah, I've been a president, I've had a few bumps in the road, here they are. And they can do that in executive session, and you can determine if there's any change in your ranking. So we always recommend that you do your interview in open session, but you give each candidate some time in executive session to share some things they may not want to share in open session, because the good candidates will share things in their background, like, yeah, I was a president, I was sued by a former colleague or whatever. You know, and they can get it out of the way, and you can decide if that affects their candidacy.
I think interview again, and I'm relying on your experience because of the, are they asked to make a presentation, say a PowerPoint presentation?
No, not a PowerPoint. Usually the interview is, give us about a minute. You give them about a minute to make an introductory statement. Why are you interested in this job? Then you go into your questions. And you have your sample questions, but you don't have to go through them verbatim. You know, you just go around the room and open the floor to questions. If you're doing an hour interview, about 45 minutes in, you tell them, look, we're going to give you an opportunity to interview an executive session if you want to share anything privately.
Yeah.
Then you go into executive session. You usually ask the candidate first, is there anything you'd like to share with us you didn't want to share in open session? And most of them say no. Some of them who've been presidents or chancellors. If you've been a chancellor or president, yeah, you have had things like a vote of no confidence. I have had faculty members accuse me of things. I have had, you know, layoffs. I've fired people. Those come out, and then you can ask some follow-up questions. You go back into open session, and you give the candidate a couple minutes to make a closing statement to the public. And usually the interview takes about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, a candidate. You finish the interview, you take a 10-minute break, and each member fills out one of these following each interview, so you do it while it's fresh, then you start your next interview. And so by the end of your day of interviews, you'll have one of these. That's why your questions and this form need to coincide, because you ask these questions, you finish the interview, you fill out this form, and at the end of the interviews, you basically tabulate these scores and see how did the candidates do numerically, then you debate, you know, who should be the finalist.
Mr. Chairman? Yes. Is it possible to indulge you guys to encourage you to go ahead and list those items, that timeline that he just enumerated, or step-by-step process, so that we can all kind of remember that? Because
I'll be there. I will be there at the end of the year.
And at the same time, I think it's important that we remember that this discussion was a few minutes ago, and provided elaborated on it. He said, what if we get this number or that number or whatever? The Chancellor asked us for 3 names. Is what he asked.
Yeah, three finalists.
And I think that should be our goal, ultimate goal, regardless as to how many applications.
I think the committee understands that the Chancellor needs 3 finalists on round. That was what was given to us in the charge. So whatever we do, we stick within that. Yeah.
And one more question.
Yeah.
My recent interviewing process with the city of Shreveport, we were hiring someone for a department. And to keep members around the table from stepping on one another, asking the same question. Is there a process that has been used at the other schools in the interviewing process that allows for a systematic or whatever system you want to use to move through the process without asking the same question?
I've seen it done 2 ways. One way is to simply start at one end with a candidate and go around the room for the next candidate you start at the other end. So everybody gets a chance to go first. The way I prefer, and some presidential secretaries do it this way, the chair has an order for the beginning. Usually he starts with, the chair will start questioning by saying, first is the faculty representative, then is the staff representative, then is the student representative, then the chair recognizes people who raise their hands. That way, if your time gets tight and you have certain constituencies on your board, you're sure your constituencies get at least one question in. You know, so there's two ways to do it. You can do it randomly, which means start at one end and just go around, or your committee chair can say, I'd like to start in this order with, you know, you don't really have a student representative, but I'd like to do our alumni representative, our faculty representative, our staff representative first, and then I'll open the floor up to other people.
Thank you very much, but I think we're just a little ahead of ourselves. If you look at the agenda, the next item was dealing with the interview and feedback process.
Sorry.
Let's just stick with the instrument and make sure we are at the point where we can move on.
We email.
So on the 17th, then the 3 recommendations come to campus.
No.
25th.
All the people we were
March
interviewing.
17th. What happens on March 17th?
Oh, yeah.
Dr.
The 3, yeah.
I can answer that. On March 17th, I'm sorry, it's our expectation that the 3 finalists will be on the Ag Center campus to interact with the staff here at the Ag Center.
Okay.
And we can have Dr. Eubanks and company to determine how that day is going to look for them. And then that evening is when the Board of Supervisors would like to intermingle with them as it relates to the reception.
Okay.
So there'll be a reception that they'll be a part of, and of course, the interviews will take place at the board meeting or during the board meeting on that Friday, the 18th.
Oh, so there's going to be a reception on that Thursday? And the 17th. Okay.
And everyone on the committee is invited to attend, but you'll get more information on that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that the 17th is a day for the candidates to really visit the campus, the finalists rather, to visit the campus, get a little bit more acclimated with the surroundings here, and we can determine, the Ag Center administration can determine how that day will look, just to give them an opportunity to be exposed to all things ag as it relates to this campus.
So the assumption is that we conclude everything on 3rd, or it's, we're gonna utilize, March 10th also,
Everything is concluding on the 3rd.
on the 3rd,
We will
okay.
interview and determine from that pool of candidates that we interview, which will be the 3 that will rise up to become finalists.
So is the 3rd a face-to-face, or is that Skype, or is that?
3rd is generally a face-to-face.
Face-to-face.
3rd is a face-to-face, but I'm trying to see, we got to put because it depends on how many candidates are coming. How many candidates can we interview in one day?
Well, Dr. Malad, previous searches have typically used about 6.
About 6
About
candidates?
6, because when you think about that, each interview will be about an hour,
Mhm.
that's
a
a full
whole
day.
day.
That's a full day.
So we're looking at a full day, yeah.
Morning and afternoon.
You get 3 before.
Lunch agree, yes.
3 before lunch, 3 after lunch.
Breakfast and lunch. We're gonna have to get breakfast, lunch, and a snack.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Later will be here.
Yes.
But it's good.
Yeah.
For one, even you can compare it again.
Okay,
On the instrument of memorandum, we'll email every member so they put your inputs and email back to us.
oh, you mean following this meeting?
Yeah, we'll email.
Then
What's
this
wrong with the
meeting?
helicopter?
Bless you,
Yeah. Did you understand Dr. Sabato's request?
Yes.
All these suggestions we are making here, we just send that to him, and he submit it, and you can make the necessary adjustment. Okay.
I don't have.
You know,
No.
So you've already taken care of it. That's about you giving them a deadline when you get the suggestions to him. When do you want them, Dr. Sabatu?
Sarah.
Yes, I'll send it today, so
Right.
3-4 days.
Couple of days before Mardi Gras.
Yeah, a day after Mardi Gras.
It's a Mardi Gras.
Enjoy Mardi Gras.
February
Where's this weekend?
February.
Campus is closed
February.
next
Monday and
Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
February.
Or Baton Rouge, no, New Orleans is
Thursday.
Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
So any comments, anything that you have on evaluation
And the question is,
and questions, would you get to Dr.
say by 11,
By
February 11th,
February 11th.
Friday,
February 11th.
Right next Friday.
Yeah, almost
a week from tomorrow.
11:59 p.m.
That counts.
That will be you, I know.
The Thursday is what, 11th?
Friday is 11.
So Barker, you giving me Friday.
Friday is the
Thursday is
Friday is the 12th.
11th?
Yeah.
Friday is the 12th.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need the input by the 11th, which is a Thursday. Okay. And as soon as you get that and refine that, you send that to the committee members, right? Including myself and it's Robin and Ms. Tracy. You all have Ms. Woods.
They're all copied on the email.
Oh,
Yeah, you can use the same email. That was it.
Okay, all right, good. That sounds very good. Okay. Is there anything else we need to say about the instrument?
That's it.
I have one little comment.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be for the ranking, at least I will be doing it. For all my applicants, I will have their strengths. But we don't know, my 1, 2, 3 could be different than Windsor's 1, 2, 3.
But they asked for unranked.
I know, but I'm ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are.
That's all the interview, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, man.
So are we straight now? Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next agenda item we have here, ladies and gentlemen, has to do with the discussion of interview and feedback process. And what I did, I developed some stuff here that we could use as discussion points.
Oh, that's down.
Yeah.
Christoph Chilafront website. Chris Rogers. Yeah, it is. Pictures. Yeah, update.
Does everybody have a copy of what I said?
No, I pass it back to them.
Process there. Does everyone have a copy? Yeah, what I did in my spare time is develop some points here that we could use for discussion as it relates to the interview process. And I would like the attorneys just to look at it and see exactly how they feel about it. For example, in order to make this as objective as possible, we say each committee member should fully understand the selection criteria. I think that's necessary for us as a committee. Interviewers will develop questions that they wish to ask. Is that in line with what has been done on this query?
How would that work with the questions that?
No, but when you were writing this, you didn't know that the committee was going to do such an outstanding job.
That's right.
So we can toss this.
So I just made this,
But if you're still going to develop questions, if you're still going to review those and tweak them, if they probably want to add.
I would just add within the framework that is established, you can still develop your own specific question.
Oh,
but
sure.
Within the framework of.
Each candidate should be asked similar questions to ensure consistency in candidates' evaluation. And I think, Calvin, you raised that question earlier, that issue earlier.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. We want to be consistent. All interviews must be conducted under reasonably similar circumstances. Is that in line with what's going on in this? Each committee member should commit to giving feedback on every candidate. I think that's very important. Okay. Feedback should be related to the candidate's ability to carry out the task required by the position. Any question here? Interview questions, candidate responses, and interview feedback should be documented. And I have this as a note at the bottom here. Interview feedback should expand on the qualities and experience that you think do or do not make the candidate a good fit for the position. Have I covered everything, you know?
There's a couple questions
Yeah.
that y'all are aware you shouldn't ask.
Yeah.
You should not ask candidates about their age.
Yeah.
It goes without saying. But
Yeah.
some people don't know that. It happens every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, you should not ask candidates about their family status or children. If they want to volunteer that, that's fine, but you don't ask candidates, are you married, do you have kids, would your wife move with you? That's not permissible.
What about religion?
You shouldn't ask candidates about their
Religious questions.
race, you know.
Is everyone paying attention here, folks? Because we don't want to get off track. No age questions, no religious questions. No family questions.
But most people don't ask race questions, but I
Yeah.
have seen folks ask, well, what does your spouse do? Is she coming with you?
Yeah.
And I'm just biting my tongue.
That's a no-no, that's a no-no. Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
it happens. So,
Okay. I think we're good here, okay.
I have a question for the attorney. How do we deal with,
Okay.
if a candidate is candid about his past work experience, do the system evaluate those 3 finalists to check?
yes, they will do background checks. And if a candidate brings something up, you can ask about it. Like if a candidate says, my spouse is a huge asset because he or she can do X, Y, Z, you can ask about it if they bring it up, or, I'm a family man, I have 3 kids, you can, well, how old are your kids? That's fine, but if they don't bring it up, you can't.
Leave it alone, yeah.
You can't.
To what extent the public items are very fast, like something that's in the newspaper?
If it's in the newspaper, you can ask. Generally, if it's unbecoming in the newspaper, we would recommend you ask it in executive session. Because you'll get a better answer. If you ask, if there's something about truth, you get the truth in executive session.
Yeah.
If there's something unbecoming in the paper, in executive session, they'll tell you the real story to be up front. They may not be able to tell you in public session.
So the system would vet the 3. Okay. Thank you.
How about travel? Could you ask me about how you travel around the world to see travel?
Within the context,
Yeah.
Well, I think we are at the point where we can move on. We already discussed meeting schedule. We have that worked out. So are there any other business to discuss? I've been here for quite some time now.
Are you still going to press on with that request, Dr. Eubanks, or have you tossed that idea?
What was that?
To meet with Dr.
To meet with Dr.
You must don't know Gina, I have that, I'm asking questions. It's just Gina.
Well, what do you want us to ask you, Gina? Once we have a discussion.
I've discussed with her where we go.
Once we have that discussion, we'll get back to you and let you know exactly what we decided. Okay.
But also remember the deadline President Chancellor and the reason for it.
Well, they're gonna ask the President Chancellor.
He said it's not a problem, it's not a problem.
Yeah, if he says it's not a problem for him, then. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you. And thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you, Dr.